Well, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off, and we'll add them in as people kind of come in. I know there's a few more kind of knocking on the door, sorting it out. I'll make a couple of just quick announcements. I think everybody here's probably heard a little bit of it, but just this is our last, we hope, Zoom meeting. And we would love to have Patty and Sandy here, and we may do that again in the future. Hopefully, we can time it and get back in person. Next month, we're going to have homecoming. So there's not really an agenda. We don't have a speaker next month. It's just honestly a chance for everybody who hadn't seen each other. It's hard to believe, but we haven't had an in-person monthly meeting since February of last year. We had a banquet, we had one meeting, and then COVID hit, and we have not been back in person for the monthly meetings. It's going to be nice to be able to see everybody. If you're doing Fly of the Month will move from the virtual world to the real world next month. And so, be ready to submit those. We're putting together a couple, we have one trip we think is definitely coming together. We're looking at going to the Boundary Waters, June 11th through 18th of next year for a week. We sent out an email, but it kind of looks a little bit like the San Juan, just going north. And then there is some talk about whether or not they can put together a San Juan trip for sometime next year too. And I think that's kind of being explored, whether there's the interest there for that. Clinics are starting back. We expect to have a fly tying clinic in August. And that's going to be Cody Griffin doing Marabou Madness. And then Dewey Freeman is going to do one probably a couple of months later, and that's going to be all about dubbing. And he's going to show 4 or 5 different ways to dub flies. And so that's kind of be the way those are going to work. Is they're either going to be themed towards a species or a technique, or kind of bundled in some way, so that when you go to that, there's going to be one instructing tyer who's going to kind of walk you through some aspect of fly tying. And that's that came out of that survey. Bob's been working on the casting coaches program, and that's still kind of a work in progress, but I think we are working towards developing a program to not only develop people to become good casting coaches, but we're also looking at how do we get people where they feel confident enough to consider putting in for casting instructor certification. And so we're looking at kind of how do you build that program out. And we think that has a lot to do with how well our beginner programs can do, as well as how well our advanced programs can do. Next Tuesday, we'll be working with Game and Fish, doing a youth camp for 10 youth at the Whit Stevens, and we have volunteers for that. We appreciate that. And then we have Fall Fair. That's going to be October the 10th, which is a Sunday afternoon. We're going to be also doing that down at Game and Fish. Kinley's been real active in kind of pulling that together and seeing what that's going to look like. We originally wanted to have the film tour that evening, but that's just not going to prove feasible with some of the contracting requirements that the film tour has. Mainly, it just deals with the fact that they don't want to have any more showings once we get into September. And then we think that's going to kind of play out in the future, where they're actually going to want the film tour to be kind of compressed into the first half of the year. So we're working with them to try to make all that kind of come together. So just one quick admin note, if there's a lot of background noise, I just ask that you kind of mute, but feel free to ask questions, and feel free to use the chat box. We'll if there's any kind of questions, we'll definitely we'll get those in front of the speaker. I think we're really fortunate to have this. I think this is the first Women's Fly Fishing Month, and they can kind of tell me if that's right. Yep. And this is real important. I think that AFF has gone a long way. I think there are a lot more women that are active in AFF. There's definitely a lot more women that are active in the sport than there were just a few years ago. And as a growing club, I think that's really important. I'll tell you, I was up on the North Fork Sunday morning and surprised by the number of women I saw out with waiting. And that's impressive. I'm glad to see it. I went to the film tour under the Cogger Bridge Saturday night. And there were entire groups of women that I don't know, they must have bundled up in Suburbans or rented a school bus, because they were a hoot. They were having a good time. But they arrived en masse. And so I think that's healthy for the sport. And I think it's healthy for AFF to kind of continue to grow that. I'm going to let Kim introduce Patty, but I'll tell you, we're fortunate. If you don't know Kim, Kim is with Riders Run Guide Service. She is a sponsor for AFF. She's active with the events we do. She's active with, Kim can tell me if I get this basically right, but she works women's programs for TU and focuses on the Little Red. And so we're excited about that. And we're excited to kind of create some connections between those programs and Women's Connect. And I'll tell you, if you got to get out on the river, go find Kim, because every time I pass Kim on the river, it looks like everybody in that boat's having a ball. And so she's doing a lot to introduce new people to the sport, and one of the most accommodating guides you'll see out on the river. And so
thank you.
If you haven't seen her, give her a look. And Kim, I'll let you introduce Patty.
All right, super. Thank you so much, Tillman. And what an honor it is, Patty. It is such an honor to get to introduce one of our most successful women in Arkansas in leadership, business, and law. Welcome back home. And Patty, as most of you know, is the owner of the Lueken Law Firm, where she practices family law and personal injury for over 32 years. Not only is she a renowned attorney, she is also a longtime AFF member and is currently on the board with the FFI. And in 2016, she and Sandy became founders of the FFI Women Connect, which I heard about on social media and became immediately interested. Love, 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 love your mission. Covers everything about getting women involved in the sport. And I wanted to take a second just to read your mission, but I'm hoping that you can cover that for us, Patty. So I am just super, super excited and honored to get to introduce Miss Patty Lueken.
Well, thanks, Kim. And yes, our mission actually sounds like kind of what you do when you're fishing. So we'll talk about that. And I do think it's a worthy organization, and we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about FFI, and we're going to talk about some opportunities that we have, including the virtual expo. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Sandy Carpenter. And Sandy is, we met through Women Connect, actually, before it was Women Connect. And we are two of the founders of Women Connect. So I don't know if you can see Sandy on there, but she's going to pipe in every now and then. And she's the one with the FFI shirt on, like mine. So
we'll show everybody at the end and give a hey.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good to have Sandy with us. But what we want to talk about first is Fly Fishers International. And some of you have heard of it, and some of you probably have not. And what we're trying to do now is get more people out there that have heard of it. Our motto is all fish, all waters. So that makes us different than TU or any other organization. There's Bonefish, there's all kinds of different groups. But with our group, it's all fish, all waters. And when we do our conservation and when we do our teaching, we teach for different waters, especially, smallmouth. I know that's something that's real big in Arkansas. And so it's more than just trout, even though trout is a huge part of it. And as far as Women Connect, you want to go to the next slide, Sandy? Yeah. Women Connect was founded by 4 women. And you've got on your left is Marianne Dozer, and then me, and then Sandy, and Molly Simonek. And we've had women doing a lot in FFI for a number of years, back into the 70s, but they didn't have a real part of the organization. We did a lot of teaching. We did a fly fishing 2-day workshop was the biggest thing. And whenever I came on board, we started doing tying because, as most of y'all know, that was kind of my passion, or kind of is my passion. And so we started a workshop for that. And then it all evolved into more workshops. And in 2016, we actually founded Women Connect. And it was something for women to do besides go to a quilting party or something while their men actually did the work of FFI. And one of our goals is to try to make women 50% of FFI now. And we can do that by adding Kim and Kinley, I know, and Nancy, I think's already. Yeah.
Yeah, I joined.
So anyway, it was just showing me signing out. I'm like changing it. No, I don't want to sign out. So sorry, it took me a minute. But since 2016, we have now become where we have a position on the FFI board. And instead of being under the education committee, which is where we started, we've done a lot of work, and we are now recognized, or Women Connect is, as a full-blown group, similar to the tying group and similar to the casting group. So we have our own agendas, we have our own board, and it's called Women's Programs, and then Women Connect is kind of our AKA. Okay, go on to the next one. Okay. How do you become a member? How do you become a member? Does anybody know?
Go
Yeah,
online.
tell us, Kim.
Go online and click join as a new member.
Yeah. Anyway, if you are an FFI member already, you are a member of Women Connect, if you didn't know it or not. If you want to get active in Women Connect, we're going to have, Sandy's going to put up the information in chat for you to be able to go to our Facebook page and join.
Yeah.
Or if you, and we're doing like 8,000, I think it was last month or this, I mean, we've got a lot of connections. So we're doing a lot with our Facebook page, especially this month, which is Women's Fly Fishing Month, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But if you're not a member of FFI, join. I know I talked to somebody and they said, FFI, I thought that group was dead. This was some guy was telling me this, and I was going like, well, it may have been, but we've resurrected. So we have reincarnated, and I think you'll find that FFI is good for more than just your insurance needs.
Oh, and tell them how expensive the membership is, Patty.
Oh, it's Sandy. I don't know. You think they can afford it?
I don't know. This is, they got deep pockets.
Yeah, for Women Connect, if you're a member of FFI, the membership fee is nothing. Multiply that by 2 and it's still nothing. So you can join with your best friend.
Yep.
Okay, and the membership fee for FFI is $35 a year.
There you go.
And for that, we'll talk about it, but you will get a lot besides just the insurance. And I know Tillman and Sandy were talking about it earlier, and it is something that's, I think, that you would enjoy, especially the Learning Center. I heard y'all talking about the wanting to do the casting and all. There's some unbelievable casting skills information in what we call the Learning Center. Mm-hmm. And for members, I mean, that's free to you. And you can go on there and you can learn about all of that. There's probably 1,000 tying videos. There's classes on leadership, all kinds of things that you can access. So if you're interested, that would be, I think, a very good thing. Okay, next item. And so what makes us different from other groups? Because, there's gobs of women's groups. And one is the strong educational component, which is primarily the Learning Center. And we do have programs throughout the year. And actually right now we're doing a lot on Zoom, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. FFI also has certifications in tying and in casting. And the casting is you earn your CI. And Bob, you're a CI, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were. And I know Jan Ellis, the late Jan Ellis, or not Jan, Chris Morris is one.
Tony Austin and I,
So
Tony
Okay.
Austin, the other one.
Tony Austin is one as well. Okay, and then you can become a master CI, and so that's just another certification. But anyway, you do have to be a member of FFI to do that. But Sandy, tell us about the bronze awards. I know you've worked through some of those for the casting.
So they have two challenge programs that are not so intensive as becoming a casting instructor. And it's to try to get people in, make it fun, and teach correct casting techniques, but not in an instructor forum. So there's a bronze, silver, and gold casting challenge. And you can get, if you want to, you can get a certificate and a pin. And it's just showing your basic casts, and then, Patty, afterwards you can talk about, there's also a bronze, silver, and gold fly tying challenge. And it's supposed to make it a little less intimidating, get people off to a good start. All the information is there. Any FFI member can do the bronze. They ask that you have to at least have passed silver and gold to pass somebody for silver and gold. And it's a pretty straightforward challenge. And a lot of fun to do.
And you can set it up, you can set it up there in the park, Tillman.
Yep.
It's really pretty much fun to do. If I don't know if you've seen that challenge or not, but it is fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then there's the certification in tying, and that's the bronze, silver, and gold. Now, I've earned the bronze and I'm working on the silver, but I just need to spend more time at it. It's those are serious. It's kind of like getting a CI or an MCI. It's definitely a challenge, but it's definitely doable. And if I can do it, anybody can. And I don't know if Dewey Freeman's on tonight, but he's one heck of a tire. He definitely needs to do it. So anyway, so that's how some of the things that we're different from other women's groups, and the stature of FFI, I think, is important too. The Fly Fishers International has good standing with a lot of conservation groups, with a lot of, they do a lot legislatively and that sort of thing. Then it's all fish, all waters, which we've already talked about is our motto. And we have a number of award-winning female members. We have book authors, that sort of thing. So we're pretty excited about our women's group and how that we are starting to take over a little bit in FFI. We'll just be plain about it. So, and here's our mission. This is what Kim was talking about.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of the things that, as it started out, when we really started putting this mission together, was I talked to a lot of different women, and women were saying, well, I say, well, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? Well, I don't really want my husband teaching me, or, I'd really rather that I had someone separate or had a woman or something like that. So what we offer is a safe and non-threatening and non-intimidating environment. Now, you guys say we're not intimidating. Well, you are a woman. And for some women, guys are, even Bob, and I'm going to tell you a story that Bob doesn't know about because I've never told it to Bob. But the very first time we were out on San Juan River, and I didn't know how to hook everything up, and Bob was teaching me, and he set me up, and I went out and I fished. And you remember we talked about those sage bushes? Well, there was lots of sage bushes, and I had no idea how to do a roll cast. So I was rearing back, and I sent my line out, and I got caught in those bushes. Well, Bob fixed me back up. Well, I want you to know it wasn't half a dozen casts later till I did the same thing. You know what I did? I didn't want Bob to know that I was so stupid to do it again. I just kept on casting. I didn't catch any fish, but I just kept on casting. Oh yeah, Bob, you doing okay? Oh, I'm fine. So Bob had never heard this story before, but you know, that's one of the things, because you don't want to disappoint someone that is working so hard to help you. And I think it's a little bit easier when you've got females helping females. And so that's what we talk about, a non-intimidating environment, even though Bob is an absolutely awesome and wonderful teacher. We want to also develop and improve fishing and tying skills. And I know that's one of the things that Kim is working so hard on, is to teach women how to cast. And I think she's had some of the same issues on her boats whenever the guy comes in, well, and tells his wife to do this. And Kim gives the wife permission to let Kim be in charge. And then Kim lets the wife be in charge. So it really is a confidence boost, which is one of the other things that we're trying to build. So we want to encourage female leadership. And Tillman, I know that's good for you and the board, because I know you're always looking for women. And through FFI, we do have leadership workshops, and through the Learning Center, we're going to offer that. We're going to talk about later, we're going to talk about the virtual Expo, but we're going to offer that in November. So if anyone wants to take the leadership training, you can do that November 5 through 7, and it will be free. So that's the right price, as long as you got to pay $25 to you know, to be in the expo. It's $25 fee, but other than that, it's no extra charge for this leadership workshop. So we do want to encourage women, and I think we have been doing that. And probably our biggest overall thing that we do is we have fun. We really do have a lot of fun at our events. And a matter of fact, we have a number of guys that like to come to our Zappy Hour, which is our that's the social hour, you know, happy hour, and then we have it on Zoom, so it's called Zappy Hour. We have sometimes guys even come to that, but they come to a lot of our training, because our training is a little bit more laid back. It's more open. If you want to ask questions, you ask questions. Sandy's a fabulous moderator, and usually does our moderation work for us. So we do have a number of guys as well as women. But I want to tell you, our mission statement doesn't say anywhere in here that we badmouth men, because we don't. I mean, that's not our goal. Our goal is to enrich and help improve women. And it's not to be a male bashing society, because frankly, I know there's a bunch of us that love men. So anyway, especially men like Bob. So I don't want you to think it's that, but we do have a lot of men that work with us. And when we have our fundraisers, men sometimes are the best fundraising folks. Okay, how do we accomplish our goals? The first one is the one I really want to talk about here, and that's implement the Liaison Program. The Liaison Program is a program that we started on the national level, and it's kind of like having ambassadors from FFI Women Connect National down to the local club. And that's actually our goal. And we now have women liaisons for almost all of our councils. There's 18 councils. And so they have women as on their council boards that are liaisons. And matter of fact, tonight I have asked Kim if she would be our liaison and for our Southern group, and I'll get her on the board for the Southern Council. And because she said yes.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I think she did.
I heard it.
Yeah. So
I said I'm interested.
Yeah, she's interested. So anyway, that sounds like a yes to me, didn't it to you, Sandy?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyway, but then what Kim will do is work with individuals in each club in the Southern Council to get them to have an individual club liaison. And I don't know if any of y'all have heard about Women's Fly Fishing Month that we're doing right now. We've actually implemented that through our Liaison Program. And the liaisons have gone out and they are working with different groups. I know we're working some with TU. We worked with Project Healing Waters, and we're working with Casting for Recovery. And then we work with local clubs. And all of those are setting up programs that we're having in June. And if you go on our Facebook page, you'll see a number of the programs that we've already had where they put pictures out and that sort of thing. But so that goes along with our liaison program where we did the outreach to other women's groups, because it's not like we're here to compete with other women's groups. We just want to be an all-inclusive group. We're not here really to compete with the men. We just want to have a voice in what's happening. We want to work with affiliate clubs to set up women's programs. And one of the main ways we're going to do that is through the liaison program. And once we have all of our liaisons set up, we're also going to have an advocate program. And an advocate will be someone, a female that is has a fairly high profile, and they will become then advocates for us. Now, we're not going to be paying them anything, so we don't know how many high profile advocates we're going to have, because a lot of them like to be paid, but we will offer that program as well to embrace the Women Connect program. We do social networking through Facebook and Instagram. And that's, Facebook has, because I think, you know, Instagram's more for really young folks and Facebook is more for people that maybe that have a little more maturity. And I did hear Kinley say that she had just turned 60. Happy birthday, Kinley. And so certainly, Kinley, you're in the Facebook group. I'm sorry.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's the way it is, isn't it? But anyway, we do have a lot of interaction on there, and it talks about a lot of our programs. And it's open, like guys can go to our Facebook. We do have a private section that's just for females, but we do have both. We also organize national workshops, events, and trips. And Sandy just got back from our women's trip to Baja. And Sandy, tell us a little bit about your rooster fishing and how you enjoyed the meeting the other women.
Yeah, there was 9 women there. 4 of them I knew. 2 of them I had met, and 2 I knew rather well. And you know, I had no experience with this rooster fish. I had gone saltwater fishing once before. A month ago, we went to Belize for bones, permit, and tarpon. And so, you know, I thought, oh boy, and everybody was so welcoming. And not only did I get my rooster and get my rooster pin and have the ceremony, I caught a dozen roosters. The owner there came on the boat with every woman and helped with our casting. The guides were there helping to teach you to get the fish in, because never before have I done a hand over hand, stripping the fly in as fast as you possibly can. A badge of honor is you throw that reel under your arm, and you know, if the reel is stuck under your arm, that fish is coming. The rooster fish is a wake coming at you. I tell everybody, I think we all pee a little bit, because that that mountain of water is coming at your fly. Amazing trip. So yeah, we're hoping to continue to get to Baja to do the toros and the roosters. And we have, I have done this trip before and had the connection with Paul Weiss. So we're doing a women's trip to the Amazon. Patty's going.
Yes.
And so we're on a houseboat 375 miles up the Rio Negro. We'll travel, going after those big peacock bass. And so that's another trip coming up. Patty, you want to talk about the Driftless?
Yeah, I will. We've kind of got those in the slides here. So yes,
okay.
We'll talk about those.
Okay.
We also have one of the biggest things about our trips and our things that we do is connections. Yes. Sandy and I met through FFI. And just this year, Sandy was, she lives in Florida in the wintertime and lives in the summertime in Montana. It's a tough life, and I wish we all had that ability. But anyway, and so she went through Minnesota on the way. And so she met up with a couple of ladies in Minnesota that she's met through Women Connect. And so it's like, it's a worldwide network. I mean, I've got, if I ever get to Perth, Australia, I've got a lady's going to take me out fishing. Her name is Val. And, you know, so you make friends with all these different people through Women Connect. And it's just an awesome, awesome group to do that. And we have fun. So let's go on to the next slide. Some of our regular programming that we're doing right now, tying and training Tuesdays. It used to just be tying, but we added training. And then we have our Zoom Zappy hours, which is kind of what I talked to you about. Those are once a month. Now, our tying and training Tuesdays after June, after Women's Fly Fishing Month is over, we'll just have one event a month until September, just because we want people to go out and fish. And our workshops, the bronze and silver ward tying workshop, we just finished that. That was the second annual. The first annual was held right here at Lueken Dock, here on the White River. And we had a number of people. We've also finished our salmon fly tying workshop. We're doing casting challenges. So it's, you know, it says fun is a component of everything. Let me tell you what else is a component. Women, it's chocolate. Okay. And I want to send a shout out to Joyce White. Joyce helped us get all these workshops started, and even Gary helped us some. Gary was, even though he's a guy, Gary sat in on, I know, one of our programs that we had out in Colorado. And Joyce has been our administrative person for, Joyce, how many, 3 or 4 workshops?
3, I think.
3, okay. But they're multi-day workshops, and we would have multiple programming going, and Joyce would be in charge of it, and she kept us all in line. So we want to thank Joyce for doing that in the past, and hopefully Joyce will do more with us in the future. Okay, next. Okay, I told you that I'd talk to you about the FFI Virtual Expo coming up November 5 through 7. Put this on your calendar. For $25, you too can have 3 days of fun and excitement. We are going to have a film festival for one thing. And Tillman, you said you probably could not get a film for October 10th. I have the film for you. We're going to have multiple, the maximum length of the films is going to be 15 minutes. But you could show multiple of these films, and then you guys can vote online and be a part of who wins this film festival. So you might want to do that on October 10th, because those we're going to have them available after the 1st of October, so that people can go ahead and vote. Okay. And there's going to be a lot going on with this virtual expo. We will have casting, we'll have tying, we're going to have a lot of just regular fly fishing stuff. We're going to have stuff on nutrition. We're going to have cooking demonstrations. We're going to have do-it-yourself destinations. And we could probably get Bob actually to do one of those. I probably should get Bob and Gary to do the one to the San Juan River. You know, I hadn't thought about that, but I think I have. Okay. But anyway, instead of having to have a guide and having a lot of extra expense where you do these things yourself. We're also going to have how it's made. We're going to be talking about how to do a bamboo rod. We're going to talk about a regular rod, and there's going to be on making a fly tying bench and what goes into all of that. There's going to be tricking out your camper and maybe tricking out your boat. I haven't got the person to do that one yet, but we're working on it. So there's going to be a lot of different kinds of things that we're going to be offering at this particular expo. You want to go to the next slide, Sandy? Anyway, we're going to have what we call a passport are a gamification game. So on Saturday, there will be vendors. And with the vendors, if you go to each one of the vendor booths and then we will know that because it's all virtual, we're going to have some wonderful, wonderful giveaways for people to get if they've gone to all of the programming. And some of the vendors will have some really neat programming from what I've seen. We will also have programming from Project Healing Waters, Bonefish Trust, there's Bonefish and Tarpon. We've got the Western Conservatory. Yeah, we've got a lot of different groups. We're going to have a group out of Seychelles, Africa. So we're going to have a number of conservation groups this time for y'all to get more information on and that you might be interested in working with as well. And a number of them will have booths. We're also going to have artists. And your own Dwayne Hayter, y'all know Dwayne. Dwayne in August is going to paint us a picture over about a 3-hour Zoom, and then we're going to auction that off. And then Dwayne will have an artist booth. We're going to have, y'all know Skip Morris. His wife, Carol Ann, is a great photographer. She's going to be one of our photographers. But we've got a lot going on here. So we do encourage you. And if any of you want to tie, we still have some tying places available. We're especially looking for female tyers. And if someone has a great program you want to put on, we can even talk about that. And the reason we say we is because I'm chair, and if I want it, I know some of the deadlines have passed, but if I want it, we'll do it, okay? So I can make that happen, I believe. Even though Tilda Evans is in charge of our scheduling and is doing a fantastic job, I think we're going to have probably around 100 different programs. We're expecting about 2,000 people at our virtual expo. And we are also bringing in and partnering with Trout Unlimited. They're going to have some speakers there, and this will all be going out to their list. And Project Healing Waters and some of the other groups will have programming along with us for the virtual expo. We're the lead for this group. Okay, what else we got, Sandy? Okay, here's the one which is coming up, the Driftless Rendezvous. For you ladies, it's going to be in Southwest Minnesota, and you can register online. I will tell you that our lodging has closed because we filled up everything that we had available. But there is individual lodging that we can help you get. We just can't get another big building. We start on the 27th with a kickoff party, which is going to be at a pizza place, I believe. And then we're going to have a taste of Minnesota. And on Friday night and Monday during the day, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll fish. On Wednesday, we're going to go to Wisconsin, which is just right next door, and fish with Jerry Meyer. And some of you I know have heard of Jerry Meyer. But anyway, we will have breakfast with her and fish with her. And then Saturday the 2nd, there will be a workshop, all-day workshop, and that's open to men and women, but it's primarily women, and women will be given preference. Men can come to our Taste of Minnesota party and also to our Monday night event. And we expect to have guides and that sort of thing there. So if any of y'all want to go, it's not too late. We still have plenty of room in the workshop, but it's just our initial lodging that we had. We had no idea it was going to be this successful, but it is, I mean, it is really, it's signed up fast and furiously. And so I think we've got a campground now that's probably full of our folks. And we do have some other resort places where you can stay that's close by. This will be in and around Lanesboro, Minnesota. Okay. All right. And the next one is the Sisters Rendezvous. And sad to say, it's also full, and it's been full and has a long waiting list. But we do this one. We've done this one. This is the second year FFI has done this one. And what we do, we have an FFI member, and it's usually been a board member, that an FFI Women Connect board member that runs these or is in charge of it. And then we have, of course, committees that do it. But this is a really great program. I've been. And Sandy's been. So there's 2 houses out there and we've gotten them on the cheap. And I don't know, we'll get to do this program next year because I think they're going to raise the rates a bunch. So anyway, we'll do something else in Oregon. Next year, we hope to have something on the East Coast, probably around somewhere up in New York, upper New York, or maybe Maine. And we're in the early planning stages on that. And then next year, and we did this one way ahead of time because this is more expensive than most trips, but we are going to the Amazon, as Sandy talked about. Sandy's been there before, and it will just be women from Women Connect. And one of the things that I loved about it, there are no mosquitoes, which is unbelievable. I had no idea, but the water is brackish and it's acidic. And for that reason, they don't have mosquitoes. And we still do have some spots available. I think we have, we probably won't go to a max of 16. We want to limit it to 10. And I think we have 8 or 9 now. I can't remember, signed up. So we do have a couple of spots left for that. Okay. Here is how you contact Women Connect. If you want to be on our email list, contact, and guys can be on this email list, contact our FFI Women Connect at gmail.com. We are on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you need to reach me, you can. That's my old law firm connection before I retired. And, I do enjoy retirement.
We need to correct that email, Patty.
Yeah.
We have that was before we were incorporated into the FFI email. So the actual email is womenconnect@flyfishersinternational.org.
And you put that in our chat.
I'll put it in chat when I drop the screen down and we see everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next one is questions. Does anybody have any questions? And at this point, that ends our formal presentation. We would love to talk with you. We would love to talk with you more about Women Connect and more about FFI and maybe some of the advantages of FFI.
I have a question, Patty. You had mentioned something about insurance. What insurance are you referring to with FFI?
FFI has insurance for clubs and councils, and it's the cheapest stuff around as far as what you can get out there in the market. But we are also now offering, if you, especially a new club coming in, let's say you wanted to work with a group of your ladies up at Heber, we have bylaws, and you can then make them into your own formal bylaws. We have training for leadership. We have, how to become an affiliate club, how to become a charter club, anything you want. We're really starting to make things available for you. For example, for this virtual expo, and I sent it to Tillman, we've now put out for all the councils and the clubs so that they can put it in their newsletters. We've actually gone to Brick House, which is the marketing group for FFI, and we have developed a whole program that will give you your logos and all the kinds of things that you need to put something in your newsletter, on your Facebook, on your website, whatever.
Awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and if you become a member, we also have corporate discounts. So you can go into the corporate discount page and look at Orvis and Sage and Rio, and as a member, get a discount. That is useful. There is a guide, a training for fishing guides. So if you have somebody that's interested in, maybe I'm thinking about guiding, that's also available. yeah, so if just go into the library, you'll be overwhelmed at what's available for you as a member.
And
It's
Sandy,
called the Learning Center.
okay, and to be able to access that after we become a member, just hit that menu and go to Learning Center.
Yes.
And then from there, whatever
Yep.
category.
Yep.
I can't wait. I hope I'm not up all night. I've got a trip in the morning. I'm going to be
Well,
looking
yeah.
at it.
And some of the items you can access without being a member, just to be frank about it.
Yeah.
But you get complete access to everything if you are a
Everything.
member,
Mhm.
because we do
Okay.
have some things that are out there for anyone that,
Mhm.
you know, especially some of the entry level, like basic learning to fly fish, things that Bob taught me.
Yeah. I know if you Google Fly Fishers International Women Connect,
Mhm.
you can now find our fly tying on YouTube. I'm waiting for 1 million hits, and Patty and I are going to split the check for having that many followers. So
That's awesome.
But yeah, and we've got more YouTubes coming up. They're running behind at the office, getting them all done. But anyway, yeah. And you'll see Sandy has put in here Women Connect, Fly Fishers International. So that if you want to reach us, you
Yep.
can, and we'll add you to our list. And that list we send out anytime we've got an event coming up. We send it out and say,
and
hey.
it is private. We blind CC all the names. It just lets you know if there's a Zappy hour. It lets you know if we're going to have a national speaker webinar. It lets you know if we're going to be tying a fly. It lets you know, are we going to have an event? So we like to do fun things. So New Year's, we did a black tie. You had to dress up and come and tie a black fly. So we had a black tie affair.
It's cute.
We had Kiss Your Blarney Fly on St. Pat's. And so you had to tie a green fly or make a shamrock looking fly. So if you just send a note to that email and say, I would like to join your email list, you'll hear about all those. But we don't bother you. We don't send out ads. All that list is to tell you, here's an upcoming program. So.
And we do have June women's Women's Fly Fishing Month. This is the first annual, or the inaugural one.
Mm-hmm.
And we started it with FFI. We're hoping to make it the world's biggest event pretty soon. And so we're working on getting a logo and everything for next year. It's been very successful for our first year, especially with, here we are still with COVID. But it's really, really been pretty good size this year. And next year it's going to be huge.
And it's basically, the goal was to try to just introduce people to fly fishing and get women connected. So do you have a local club? How about kids? A bunch of women took out kids and said, here's a fly rod. Let's cast a pond. Just to try to connect people to fly fishing. So we didn't limit it to, you can only bring another woman fly fishing. We're like, bring anybody into fly fishing for Women's Fly Fishing Month. You're a woman, you brought them in.
And one of the things that we're talking about, this is probably going to happen in August, but it may not be. It may be a little bit later in the year. But what we're talking about doing is having some, family type events where you take your child and that sort of thing for fishing events, because especially our younger folks, they've got little kids. And if we want to bring in folks under 60, we've got to take into account that a lot of times their experience needs to include the kids. And then, we have grandparent type folks that might want to take their grandkids fishing. So anyway, we're going to be offering some items like those. And I hope this doesn't sound too much. It probably did. Like we are really pushing FFI and FFI Women Connect. But I will tell you that when I was at the local club level, I didn't know a lot about FFI. And I got a call or a a letter that's asked me if I wanted to tie or make a presentation. I think the presentation came first at FFI, the international. And I go like, how'd they get my name? Where'd this come from? I have no idea. But I go, well, yeah, you know me, I'll do anything. Well, within reason. But anyway, I went and I presented a program, and I've been involved with it ever since. And I think it was not near as friendly toward women, maybe initially, but it's become very friendly toward women at this point. And matter of fact, whenever we were having the national programs, the biggest events would be women programs. Mm-hmm. So for you ladies, I just want you to know that it's definitely improved, hasn't it, Joyce?
Definitely so.
Yeah. So anyway, are there any other questions or anything from?
One more thing, you're talking about the flies a while ago that you were doing. You ought to try a Christmas tree fly.
Bob, we're signing you up for Christmas. Put them on the list, Patty.
That's right. We had Santa Claus last year. This year we'll just have Bob Cheatham with the Christmas tree fly.
We're doing a Santa fly this year.
We'll have to take that into consideration for sure, Bob.
Oh yeah, we've had it down here.
Oh, okay. Who tied it?
That would be fun.
The one that Kent Stone won.
Oh, okay. Well, Kent's fabulous
Kent.
tire.
You know Kent.
Oh yes, he's a wonderful tire. Absolutely. So, okay. Anything else? Well, if you ever have anything in the future that you need to talk to us about, you've got our emails. Get in contact with us. Tillman knows how to reach me, and Joyce and Gary do. They regularly communicate, as does Nancy. So we'd love to chat with you.
I want to say thanks to you, Patty, and Sandy and Kim for doing this tonight.
You too.
I'll be honest with you, you're in tall cotton, because we've had, in the last 3 months, we've had Tim Flagler, we've had Skip and Carol Morris, and we've had Bob Clouser. And
wow.
I put this on par with that, because this provided structure. This provided, it's fun to get in here and talk about fishing, but it's also, to me, it's really exciting to talk about how do you introduce people to the sport. And I know we talked earlier today, and I'll tell you, if you haven't given FFI a look in a while, I recommend you go look at the website. It is, I'll be honest with you, it's light years from where it was 6 months ago. There's really some cool content. And, FFI, their motto is all fish, all water. And I think that's important, because there are a lot of fly fishing organizations out there, but they all kind of have little niches. This is really the only umbrella. And so if you want to advance the sport, FFI is really probably the only holistic organization that's looking at all aspects of the sport and all the species of the sport and trying to incorporate all that. I do appreciate it. I'm excited about it. And I really think it was a great presentation. I appreciate everybody joining us, and I appreciate y'all giving your time to share that experience.